Resumption next sitting day. Call on Government Order of the Day number 1.
Child and Family Protection Bill, interrupted debate on first reading.
When we were last on this debate, Simon Bridges was speaking and has 8 minutes 30 seconds remaining if he so wishes.
Mr. Speaker.
Simon Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't intend to take all of that time at all. Prior to the break last night, I was making the point that it's been really an excellent thing in my very short time as a Member of Parliament to see this Parliament united against domestic violence. Certainly it's a deserved topic of need and concern given the very serious problem we do have in this country. As I say, I won't take all my time, but I do just want to speak on one issue that is addressed in this bill, the Child and Family Protection Bill, and that's in relation to the Adoption Act 1955, amendments to that. That's a reasonably comprehensive law as I understand it, but it doesn't really live up to some obligations, international obligations we have today, and a phenomenon that Charles Chauvel talked about in this House of really child trafficking, if you like. And Clause 30 of this bill before the House makes it quite clear that we are, through this bill, living up to our international obligations and in particular ratifying or moving through the optional protocol of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child and the Sale of Children, child prostitution and child pornography by creating a new offence. And what we're doing, Mr. Speaker, is we're moving the penalty up from a very low 3 months to 7 years, and we're also taking this extraterritorial so that no longer will it just be an offence that applies in this country but throughout the world. And certainly, in my view, that's very much a worthwhile thing to do. This is a serious international problem. We may feel we are insulated from it, and to some extent we are, but my research has made quite clear to me human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry in the world. Total annual revenue for trafficking in persons is estimated between 5 and 9 billion US dollars a year. The Council of Europe has said that people trafficking has reached epidemic proportions over the past decade, with a global annual market of about $42.5 billion. And of course we could go into all the details, but what we're dealing with here in relation to children is of course probably the saddest and the worst set of examples we can think of. Trafficking of children often involves exploitation of parents and their extreme poverty. Parents may sell children to traffickers in order to pay off debts or gain income, or they may be deceived concerning the prospects of training and a better life for their children. In West Africa, trafficked children have often lost one or both parents to AIDS, and thousands of males and sometimes female children have been forced to be child soldiers in that continent. And the US Department of Justice, in a study in 2008, more than 30% of the total number of trafficking cases for the year were children coerced into the sex industry. The adoption process is fraught. As I say, there's often a number of illegitimate factors at work: coercion, pressure, financial incentives that make this a serious global situation. Thousands of children from Asia, Africa, South America are sold onto the global sex trade, for example, every year. They're often kidnapped or orphaned, and sometimes they're sold by their own families. So I accept I'm talking about a wider problem than perhaps this bill deals with, but nevertheless, by living up to some of our international obligations in this area, we're doing a good thing through this bill. I highlight only one of a number of things this bill does in relation to children and family violence, and it's been, as I say, a pleasure to be part of a House effort to combat this in our country, but also extraterritorially in the world we live in, Mr. Speaker.
I call Sue Moran.